One of the biggest issues in construction is getting paid. It's very difficult sometimes, particularly when there's variations, or there's delay and disruption on a project, or developers waiting for a lender's drawdown, or the terms and conditions of the day one drawdown and subsequent drawdowns are not clear, or they change, and then not enough money comes down. Then that flows through to the contractor. He's not getting enough money on time to pay his supply chain, or the contractor might be juggling 5, 6, 7 projects at the same time, and there's been a problem on one, and then they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And the poor old subcontractor's thinking he's being screwed over by the main contractor, but the main contractor's trying to juggle his other projects, or he's trying to struggle with a slow trickle down of money from the funder or the developer. Developer's waiting for funding, and it all slows up and grinds to a halt sometimes, And I've seen it before when we're representing clients, is the human cost and toll of that, the stress, the anxiety, the problems with, just directors, people's families it can affect, paying the bills. And it's sad to see sometimes. And so I've come up with a 7-point plan to improve your chances of getting paid, or getting paid the right amount. And this 7-point plan, it's not a 100% cure, but it can get you in a much, much better position. And I think the key to this is pre-planning cash flow, and setting your project up properly, understanding your client, understanding your payment timelines, etc. So the 7-point, what I call the starter system, is it starts with sales and marketing, and aligning your leads and your market in such a way that you know how many leads you need for how much money you need coming into the business. So the first thing to do, and a lot of companies don't do this, they know they should do it, and they know the theory behind it, but they don't really align their marketing plan and marketing strategy with their cash flow strategy. So the first thing we look at is cash flow, how to market yourself, how to plan your marketing pipeline, so you've always got multiple streams of income coming in, or multiple streams of marketing leads coming into the business. The second one is trust. How can you build up trust with your client? How can you research a client? How to do due diligence on your client? Now, it may be that your client's in a difficult situation. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Maybe their business is slightly distressed, which is creating lateness in payments for you. So there's certain things you can do and test and find out to see whether or not your client is in a difficult position regarding cash flow and paying you, and choose whether or not you're going to continue working with that client, because it can affect your cash flow. And of course, cash is king. And if you're going to go out of business, it will be because of cash flow. You might have a long pipeline of work. You might have money you might have assets somewhere in property or elsewhere. But the thing that will put you out of business is cash flow. So trusting your client, knowing your client, doing the right due diligence on your client. That's one of the key things to look at. Then the next thing we look at is the A, which is agreement or contract. Understand your contract, understand all the documents in the round, and understand the payment terms, what your obligations are, what's included in your contract, and what you're expected to deliver. And it's surprising how often clients might change payment details or payment timescales from what's in a standard form. So look at that very carefully, because that could be detrimental to your cash flow. Or sometimes they change certain things in the payment terms, which kind of gives you an inkling to their attitude towards the project. Do they want to spread out the time between the due date and the payment date? It kind of tells you something. So it tells you something about the character of the client if they do that. So things to watch out for before you even get into contract. The next thing is remuneration or payments in terms of automating payments. Now, there are ways and means these days of setting up an automation with your client that the money that you're owed will be paid directly into your bank on the date that it's due on the invoice. Now, there's no real reason why a client shouldn't agree to that unless they're thinking of paying you later than the proper date for the due date of payment on the invoice, which again tells you something about your client. So one of the things you can do is set up an automatic go cardless account or anything like that, and then automatically that money goes into your account. The other payment systems that we use, one of them is a thing called S.T.A.R.T.ER, and it's a digital payment tracking system which tracks cash flow throughout the supply chain. It means that contractors no longer have to worry about juggling their cash flow, robbing Peter to pay Paul, similar to subcontractors. They could get paid on time. And what happens there is this system joins the bank with the developer, with the contractor, with the supply chain in terms of payment. So what we do is we issue a promise to pay or a digital payment obligation throughout the supply chain, which then means that the payments are made direct from the funder and everything carries on as normal. But instead of making payments, you make you issue a digital promise, really. And once you're holding a digital promise, then the funds come in straight from the funder or the project bank account. So in that way, you can grow your business. You don't need to have a certain net worth to win projects. And if you're running it, you can get more work and more clients that are actually running the transfer system. So that's something else that we can look at in terms of building your business. The next thing to look at is program, timeline of payments, and timing, putting together the timing of your payments in your project with your operational cash flow timelines, together with the timelines of payment from your project or from your contract. So that's very important. And are your project timescales realistic? Have you got enough time to do your work? And also in terms of what you've been made responsible in terms of project timelines in the contract. Sometimes some projects make you responsible for checking the previous trade's work or the next trade's work, or you may be aligning your project program to you, but that might be affected by another party. So timelines are really important to look at. Now the next item on our plan is essence, and this is all around you and your business and what value you're bringing to your clients and what trust are you giving to your clients. Earlier on we talked about finding out how you can trust your client, but in this section it's all around how you can provide trust to your clients. So for example, are you putting yourself out there enough on social media? Are you selling your products out there? Are you putting videos on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram? Are you putting videos out there about your products, how you work, what you can provide, what value you can provide to people, so that people begin to come to know you? And then if you're tendering for a project or you're in negotiations with a seller or a vendor, you can give them a link and say, look, have a look at this. This is all the stuff we do online. And what that does, it builds up trust. It gives you more opportunity for more projects, and you're adding value already before the clients even start to pay you. So add value, build your business, and think about your values. You know, what are the values and your mission statement of your business? Keep that in mind when you're putting content out there. And I think the way things are going forward, value is going to be seen largely around, does your client know and trust you? And the old days was doing pre-qualification questionnaires, etc. But these days it's about, do we know them? Are they out there? Can we have a look at what they do? Are they known? Are they trusted? And are they efficient? So this can all be done and build your brand. In fact, that's very important, building your brand out there online. It's a different community now. It's a different way that we look at things. And I think in the future, value will be given to companies that are out there that can be known. And then the other part of what we look at is around record keeping. Now, in order to get paid, particularly if there's changes on a project or things go wrong, you need to have kept good records and proper records. And there's certain types of records that are really important: daily records, site records. If you're a developer, there's records around how you're progressing on site, and records that you need to pass up the line to your monitoring surveyor and your lenders. But really, record keeping is very, very important. And I think records are not just keeping records, it's keeping the right records, cross-referencing the records, and keeping a summary data sheet of the records that you're keeping is really, really important. So there you are. There's 7 things that we can look at in a lot more detail. And so what I'm offering to do is to sit down with you, if you'd like to, if you're interested, and give you a 1-hour free consultation to go through all these aspects of your business and help you to build up a plan of how you can move forward and give yourself a much better chance of being paid, and also to discuss with you the systems that we have that can help you get paid, or get paid the right amount going forward. So remember, cash is king. Our system is called the Cashflow Starter System, and we're happy to hold your hand with you, do it with you, do it for you, or train you and teach you so that you can do all of these things yourself. So I hope this has been useful. This is Stuart Davidson, QS Consult, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.